Hello designers, Jamie from Graphic Design Theorem. Today we're going to be using Gear Watch Designer to design a watch face for the Samsung range of watches. Firstly I'll show you what to do, then afterwards in maybe another video we can talk about how you sign up to be a designer and how to upload to the Gear store. Anyway, without further ado, let's hop in and see what we can do. Okay, so once you've downloaded the Watch Designer, this is what you'll see when you start a new project. What we're going to do today is we're going to select New for the Gear S2, Gear S3. Project name, we'll call this one Digital Blue, and hit OK. Okay, with this screen here, this circle is going to be the watch face. It's 360 by 360. So the first thing we need to do is think about what background we're going to have on the watch. And obviously you've got to think about all the way through this design, you've got to think about copyright. And one thing we can't do is use anything that is copyrighted. So always look for royalty free, a blank color. They help us out a little bit with Samsung, where we can choose one of the colors that they've got. Some of them are okay, will work perfectly fine. However, what we'll do is we'll use one that I've designed in Photoshop that I think will look pretty good. If we go in here, instead of choosing one of those, choose import image, and I've got this one here, which if you can see, it may be a little dark. It looks great on the watch though. It's like a world map. Okay, the next thing I'm going to want to do is put an index. An index is the numbers, is the lines, and anything that's going around the outside really. For instance, that on the left here, on the right here, you can change things like the opacity. Look particularly nice dark like this. You can change the hue and the color. You can even change the sizes, and yeah, all sorts. We'll go through them. And there's a few to choose from. What we're going to do though is design a run. And the first thing is we put one index mark at the top. And as you can see, that's the start of something beautiful for sure. If we highlight that, and you can see it's arrived here as a layer. So we've got background layer 1, and then we've got the index on top of it. Okay, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to have 4 of these at the main points. And as you can see, it says custom. If we wanted 12 of them at the hour, we can do it automatically like this. Equally, if we wanted 60 of them going around, we can put them on the minutes. But what we're going to do is leave it to custom, and we're going to ask for 4 of them. Like that. We're also going to change the color of them because I want a bright neon blue color to it, and I just happen to know that if we go -180 and 100, that gives us the color that I'm after for this one. And there you go, they're the 4 points. What we'll do next for the index, which I think will look particularly nice, is to have a smaller one. And this time I'm probably going to go, is it 8 or is it 9? It's 8. And again we'll change the hue down to 180, saturation up to 100, and I think that's pretty nice. Alright, that's a good start. Okay, just a quick word about watch hands. We're not going to use them in this one because it's a digital watch. However, we can use any one of these hands. We can also design our own as vector images in something like Photoshop or Illustrator. Once we've imported it in, we sync it with a certain thing that happens on the watch. And in this case, we're going to sync this one with the minutes of the day. And as you can see when we move this time, that it is indeed synced with the minutes of the day. If this is midnight and this is 1 o'clock. However, we're not going to use hands in this one. We're going to use a digital clock. So we'll bring up a digital clock, and there you go. This is not going to work for the design that I'm after. We need to change the color, but we need to change the font as well. There are a few free fonts that you get with the software. You may have to download some other ones. I certainly did. So the font I want to use is Digital 7. I think that's real nice. And I'm going to make it really relatively big. Now, as you can see, this has gone way off the screen, but that's fine because this is not the way that we're going to use it. What we will do, and this ICU format here corresponds with what's going to be displayed in the digital clock. And if we delete that there, we're left with capital HH. That will give us just the hours. Place that somewhere there, probably a little higher. And then we do the same again for a digital clock. But this time, take away the seconds and the minutes. Change it to a digital 7. And make it the same size. And we'll move them around. We'll move them around in a minute. Okay, we might want the two little dots in the middle. This way we can use a digital clock. What we'll do is we'll use text and do exactly the same thing. So digital 7. Size-wise doesn't really matter. If we double click in here, we can change the text to just be one of those. And bring it somewhere there. What we can do with this as well is change the color. And this is if it's not got hue and saturation, it's literally got a color picker. Hold on. Okay, now for the seconds. I'm going to have an analog second, even though it's a digital watch. I'm going to have an analog second hand, because I like the way that this one looks on this watch. So we'll put that down here around there. And I really do like the way that looks. I'm going to leave it as it is, except for I'm going to change the color of the hand to match the theme of our watch, just as we did before. Right, that's seconds. I'm going to have more digital clocks. I like, especially on this type of watch, I think we should have the day and date. So we've got digital clock. This time, if we're going to select more, we're looking for the day, and I think it's L. No, so CCCC will work. CCCC. Monday. Do the same thing. It will change the font and the color. I like it. This time, I'm going to want to see the day and month, DD, September, LLLL, DD, LLLL. like so. Oh, that's great. This point here, so first of all, I think it'd be nice if we do some interactive buttons. I always think that the day of the week could be a button towards our calendar. So if we highlight that part, I'm going to make it smaller so the button is relevant to the size of the word. So if we go there, that'll be great. If we, these 3 lines up here, if we set as but, makes my son laugh all the time. Set as button, and we will go into action. If you tap it, we open an app. The app we're going to open for this one would be schedule. Probably the same with calendar as well, so let's just resize that one as well. Three lines, set as button, open app, and we open schedule. The 2 buttons in the middle, in fact, this whole size probably could extend that to the whole clock. We shall set this as button. Action, open app. This time we'll open the alarm. Okay, so there is an error that I've gone that I've made happen. I've induced an error just so as I can show you now. It is really important when you get all the way through, really, is to hit this run button and to make sure that everything looks okay when it's working. Now, in particular, what's not going to work well is this Monday, and I'll show you why that is. Day. As you can see, Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just about all of the days are cut because of the small surround that I gave it. The month should be okay. February, September is the biggest, I believe. September, month fits in. All right, so all we've got to do is extend this, the permitted area really, as to where the where it will display. So there you go, that's sorted. Now, okay, so now for some, well, interactive, fun extras. This is what we call complications. I think it's always nice on a watch like this to have a battery indicator. And these are 3 that they kind of examples that you can use. I like none of those for this watch. However, I do think we can use this one. And the way this works, it's difficult to see on this watch because it's very, very dark. I think we're going to put it there. And the way this works, as you can see here, we've got the timeline. We've also got the battery here. If you press plus, you can select different things that you want. I've selected battery. And if I make this smaller, you can see the timeline. These are all the, I mean, every one of these corresponds to an image on this circle. If I do this, you'll be able to see. So every one of these from 24 all the way down to 1, image 1, correspond with these images. And this is the timeline. This is 100% battery. And as you see, as we go left, the battery level gets lower. And these images either show or hide, depending on where it is. This one here is the exclamation mark that appears there. Now simply all I want is everything except image 21 down to image 1. If I delete those, what we're left with is a simple battery indicator. If we go from 0 all the way up, you can see that the exclamation mark goes at 15 all the way up to 100. It's good. It's not bright enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight. It's also big. Hold on. I'm going to highlight image 24, text, image 23. What is image 22? Okay, image 22. I'm going to change the color. I'm going to try and make it red. To show a low battery. Maybe I'm not very good at this hue and saturation. It's always really quite difficult. Maybe there's a way of going straight to a color. But that'll do. So now you see what happens. We're at 0 up to 15% and it will turn grey. So I like that. Probably 50. If we remember 50, we'll probably have to change some others as well. We'll certainly have to change the text. Text is different, clearly. There we go. Next on our watch face, I think we should have, as it's a telephone, we should have a picture of a telephone. Now this is slightly more complicated. We're bringing an image. And I happen to have already designed some images. So we're bringing the telephone image. And I'm going to have my telephone image probably there. Can go a bit smaller. Could be there. Probably there. And the same thing again, we're going to make this a button, open app, and this is going to open the telephone, the phone. It's a little bit bright. I'm going to take the opacity down just to dull it a little. Better. I'm going to leave these white, I think they'll look nice. This, I'm going to change the battery. I'm going to make it just a slight bit brighter. There. Okay, next, we'll bring in the image of the message. And place it there. This one is the messages. What I didn't do, what I forgot to do, is to set this one as battery. Battery status. We also need to just bring the opacity down on this one a little. Okay, on the right hand side, we need to keep the battery, in my view, we need to keep the watch looking a little bit symmetrical. So on the right, I like to include another image, the play button. Just checking for size. It's there or thereabouts. Probably there. Set as button. Music. Fitness works well on a watch. Definitely people like to have their, see how far they've walked for the day, their step count, etc. It's looking great. Now we just need one thing to equalize the symmetry. And one of the things that I can think of doing, I hardly ever use it or need it, but then many will, is the heart rate monitor. And the reason I think this will fit is because it's the same sort of shape as the battery indicator, either one of these. Clearly that's huge. So I'm going to want to reduce the size. This image, the beats per minute, we don't need that at all in my view. This one we can change the size of the font. I'm also going to change the area that it sits in. Probably there. We still need to go a lot smaller. Okay, so you could say this is a completed watch face. There's a few things I'm looking at changing, and at this point you can just, I don't know, play around with it and see if you can make little improvements here and there. One thing I'm going to think of doing is I'm going to bring these. I've forgotten these two images. So I'm going to undo that. Do it again. I need to select all four of these. I'm going to bring these to there. I'm going to do the same with battery. Should be okay there. I'm going to raise the clock. To there. I think that's good. I think that's more balanced. And the very last thing that I think it needs is one more index. I'm going to go for a very small circle, this one here. And I am going to put 60 of them, just to see what this looks like. Maybe Okay, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that last change. What if we lower the opacity? I'm not sure. Better, I think. These are circles. I think that's better. Point is, you can do whatever you want. I think that's it. I think that watch is complete. The last thing to do is to see what it's like running. Or the last thing to do before the next thing. And that looks good to me. Okay, so there are a couple more things that I want to do. First of all, with this second hand, I like to change the movement effect from normal to sweeping. And I'll show you what it does. So it now sweeps around rather than ticking. So that's nice. And then the last thing, if you've got a Samsung watch or any smartwatch, I guess, you've got an always on display. And that is that it's a battery saver. When you're not looking at the watch, it can dull, it can change and save the battery. That's called the always on display. Now up here at this little half moon, it's generate always on display. I'm not going to generate a low bit color. I'm only going to generate a high color on this one because I'm gearing it towards the Gear S3. So we'll enable high color, and it's just going to show you that warning and just tick OK. Okay, so if we change now to always on, high color, the second hand automatically goes because the always on always forgets that one. And then we can start to turn things off as battery savers. We want to get this ratio into green if we can. We don't need the index is maybe one of them. Maybe keep that one. Clearly need that. The background for the second hand we don't need. We don't need Monday. Don't need any of these buttons because if we're pressing them, the always on would turn off. Probably don't need that. Or index 4. Okay, so the very last thing that we need to do is to, and I think it's nice just to dim these images down a little. When they're always on display, the battery is in saving mode. It's nice for it to go a bit darker. I just think visually that works. With the index, we can take the opacity down to say 50%. With the digital clocks, we have to change the color. We'll go about halfway, maybe up slightly there. And same with the text. We'll go a little darker with this. And you could leave it there. So just to show you what it looks like, if you're looking at your watch, this is what's visually shown. As the watch goes into standby mode, that's what happens. You point your watch to yourself again, and that's what happens. So that is Digital Blue from start to finish. It took 30 minutes. Truth is, it took a lot longer than that. You can see by the clock on the right. But without recording video, it's much, much quicker. And honestly, in 30 minutes, you can design something like this. Okay, so this should bring me back. All right, so that's my first video. Please be kind in the comments. I'd like to make more, but only if this one's received well. I know that Samsung Gear watch makers are few and far between, so there's not many out there that are looking for this tutorial. If you've got any other ideas of things that I can do, feel free to let me know. Whether it be again the Samsung Gear watch app, or whether it be Photoshop, anything you want. Thank you very much for watching. Like if you wish, subscribe if you wish. Let me know the things that I can do. And that's it. Thank you.